This is my first knitting video, and this is actually my third take because things keep being weird and awkward. So we'll give it another try. I have just finished my hexipuff. I used my hook to pull through the end and I stuffed it with fiber fill. Now I'm going to do the crochet bind off. So I have the yarn in the back. There are, I'm sure, many different ways to do this, all of which are fine. I'm just showing you the way I do it, and if you think that there's something that I could do that would make me more efficient, I'd love to hear it. So I use my crochet hook. I go through the front of the front stitch, and then I go through, it's really the back of the back stitch, but from my perspective it looks like the front, so both of them as if to knit. I wrap the yarn around, I don't know if it matters which way, bring it through on the back stitch, through on the front stitch, and now I've got one stitch on the needle. I don't do any sort of a yarn over, any additional yarn over. Front of the front stitch as if to knit, back of the back stitch as if to knit. I often find it helps to just pull the fabric down a little bit, give myself a little extra space. Through the back stitch, through the front stitch, and then through the stitch on my hook. Front of the front stitch, back of the back stitch, around, bring it back through with the hook. Oh, that's impossible to see. Let me turn it the other way. Oh, come back, you little guy. You think you're running away from me. I've heard it's easier if you hold the crochet needle like a pencil, but the way I have my phone set up on this giant textbook, I can't hold it that way. So front of the front stitch, back of the back stitch, bring the yarn back through. If it falls off the needle, it's still okay, I find. I'm sorry, it's so awkward for me. Front of the front stitch, back of the back stitch. I'm losing one of my knitted stitches. Come here, there we go. Front of the front stitch, back of the back stitch, which again, oops, that stitch is twisted from one of my times when I messed up, so I'm just going to go in the back of it instead. I hope that made sense. So it's the same. The stitch was twisted on the needle, so I'm twisting it back the other way. Trying to watch myself do it through the camera is so awkward. It seems like it should be exactly the same, doesn't it? But it's, for some reason, it's really disorienting. We're almost done. Front of the front stitch, back of the back stitch. And then the last one is fun because we do both of them. It makes it a slightly cleaner bind off, and I do this whenever I'm binding off, is I grab the last two together because otherwise there's a little dog ear. So I've got both of those stitches. No, I don't. Let's get them both. Come on, you. Usually I hold the knitting a lot closer to me. Okay, so now I really have both of those, and then we'll get the back one. This is the one that's usually the tightest. Okay, both of those. Grab it. These I find way easier to take the needle out each time. So I just drop it and then through that one and then through there. Okay, now I need my yarn trimmer. Here's that. Don't need much of a tail. And then I use my crochet hook, pull the yarn through, and now I'm going to go grab it from the other side. So I go in the puff somewhere, out near the yarn, grab a loop, and pull it in, and then untwist it, get my hook out. So there's my puff. I hope that helped. It seemed really awkward to me, but maybe it was useful. Good night.